go. close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll
Seferovic. Van Balmus had read the danger. Make sure he got there first. He got plenty of height as well as distance on the clearance. Some tempo about the game in these first 10 minutes. Oara. Support from Ravet. Bisha to Sanogo. Now Benito. Spell of possession. The Swiss runners-up. Kassim Nuho. Another like Babu that was on loan last year and has now made that permanent. From the Spanish side, Mallorca. Hutter is the Austrian in charge of young boys. Runners-up spot last season. They've been runners-up to Basel in the last 3 years, actually, in the Swiss Super League. Also coming in September of 2015. And he's done the double in his only year in charge back home in Austria with Salzburg. He started his coaching career in their youth team. Ended his playing career with them as well back in 2007. Placed fully fourth with young boys. Had some notable names in charge down the years, the likes of Tor Grip and Christian Gross, maybe amongst the more familiar. As Babu concedes the free kick here. For Silva is still feeling the effects of it, still down, the Portuguese international. There's a half-time introduction on Thursday. Second season with the club ref for Silva since the move from Braga. Gusto can't locate anybody in red with that. He joined in January of this year from Rio Ave. He only made his first league start on the final day of last season, the 2-2 draw against Boa Vista. And they fielded a much changed team. The former Brazilian under-21 international. A bit of business in the summer. Indeed, there was business being conducted by Benfica during the game against Nacional Zamax on Thursday night, when Barcelona reached agreement to sign Nelson Semedo, the right back. That has since been done. He wasn't part of this squad because he was away with his country in the Confederations Cup. Benfica's international contingent haven't made the trip to Switzerland. They'll be involved a little later in the summer. So Nelson Semedo won't be, because he is now officially a Barcelona player. They believed to be 30 million euros and will rise by a further 5 million euros for every 50 games that Semedo plays for Barca. Follows Edison and Victor Lindelof. There's a big name departure this summer. So Ravet pushes it goalwards again. Departure of Edison to Manchester City means that Julio Cesar is back in goal at the moment. Former World Cup winner. Interesting to see if anybody else in Bruno Varela has returned from Vitoria Setúbal and is on the bench today. Paulo Lopez, the veteran, played the second half against Nacional Zamax. Cesar, who was restricted to just 7 league starts last season, the 37-year-old goalkeeper. He's number 1 on this tour so far. A flag up against Jonas. And Balmus have managed to collect it bravely at his feet anyway, but it wasn't going to count. It's not too soon this time. With the addition of Seferovic as part of their incoming transfer business this summer. So Kostas Mastroglou on the bench, late addition to this tour. Colombian Christian Arango, who we saw briefly a couple of nights ago as well, the 22-year-old from Netherlands. be an option. Young boys do from the throw. It's fairly comfortably cleared away. So they're not able to keep that one in either. FC Toon player about to begin his 4th season with young boys. He won his first cap for the Ivory Coast in March against Senegal. Also earned an international recall. Those two looking to link up again today in the young boys midfield. There's Hermesh. Room to run into. He's getting it back again. Competition for that left back role later in the summer, and when the season gets underway, because Alex Ronaldo really ahead of them in the pecking order, but neither of them, because of international commitments earlier in the summer, are on this trip to Switzerland. So Hermesh very much trying to stake his claim in their absence. Plenty forward for the corner, including both centre-backs, Jardel and Zandro are in there. It was Jardel who almost got his head to that, but it was well defended by those in yellow. Now the club captain on this trip with injury problems. He's been left back in Portugal. He's very much a backup this season, still an important role to play off the field, a 31-year-old. He's in his 8th season with the club. One time David Luiz replacement when the Brazilian first went to Chelsea. 100 league appearances have followed, but only one of those came last season. Luiz out and Lindelof having moved on. Janela started both games in the Soren Cup. Andre Lopez, the Argentinian, picked alongside him today. With Ruben Diaz, who's back on the bench. Give an opportunity to the 20-year-old on Thursday. He's yet to make a competitive senior debut. As this man, Diego Gonçalves, but you would imagine that is only a matter of time. Already impressing on this trip. He was one of the standout performers for them in their first fixture. They can't find a way through here. Jonas. Augusta will go for goal. He generated real power with that. Wasn't too far away. That would have been his first Benfica goal. Primary role in that midfield as the point player, really at the other end, get his foot in. His physical presence, but extra strength to the bow, perhaps. Finding himself in those sort of positions, particularly today with the insurance of Facer alongside him. Reversal really from Thursday when he filled the deeper role and Martin Krian was a little more advanced in the Benfica midfield. Now had to get there and didn't, and Awarau is lurking with intent behind him and couldn't keep his shot down. That was a dangerous game. If the young boys have anybody in their side they would have wanted in that position, back to take advantage, it would have been last season's top scorer, Guillaume Awarau. Goal scorer against Stoke City in their first fixture. Benfica coach there, Rui Vitória, knows that the side gifted an opportunity to the Frenchmen and were a little lucky that they weren't punished. Careful to do that too frequently, you wouldn't have thought. 18 goals he got in the Swiss Super League. Now 33-year-old Frenchman from Reunion this season. Moved back to Liga actually in January when Lyon were interested in him. Very much the main man up front for this young boys' side. Perhaps the pick of their chances so far in the opening exchanges. Most of the action has been at the other end here. Felipe Augusto doing really well to work that into space. Towards Jonas, and Balde got an important touch just in front of him. Over of the fullback positions, but on the right. He's slotted into the side in pre-season. Face up to Alessandro Lopez. Never really been a Benfica regular. He's had 3 seasons at the club now before this one, since he's moved from Getafe. He started 6 games in the Liga last season. Rafa Silva, Seferovic taking over. Not giving a decision there. He's taking on the well-being of Rafa Silva. Didn't let it go on because he was playing the advantage. Didn't go on because he didn't see anything wrong with the challenge, I think. You can understand the frustrations maybe of the Benfica supporters, because it didn't turn out to be too much of an advantage for Seferovic. Pré-Época, I think, is Rafa Silva, 2016 winner with Portugal a year ago. There's 10 caps now for his country. He's now has 2 major championships with them. But it wasn't part of the squad at the Confederations Cup in Russia. Gonçalves working it wider to Andre Almeida. Brought wide the challenge. Finds Jonas. Felipe Augusto. Wide to Rafa Silva. Quite pick away through. There is a free kick to follow. Rafa Silva again is on the wrong end of some tough treatment here. This is a free kick in very dangerous territory. No shortage of candidates who fancy it in red. The seniority of Jonas may be a factor in the conversation here, although we've already seen how Felipe Augusto can strike a ball from this sort of range. The conversation between the two of them is ongoing. Jonas to take it, hits the ball, and Benfica lead. Jonas will claim it, but an element of fortune about the opening here. Von Balmas was left with little chance really by that deflection. Midway point of the first half in this final fixture in the Uruguay Cup, and Benfica as it stands are heading for the trophy. Big deflection off the back, I think, of Guillermo Arap, trying to help out his defence as part of that wall. Anywhere, he's buried it into the corner. Jones felt like it was on target when he struck it, so they could have had him there to win the goal. But he knew wants it, that is for sure. Just as against the St. Zamax earlier in the week, the scoring for Benfica in the Uruguay Cup.
Benfica Lisbonne 1, Young Boys 0. Aos 22 minutos de jogo, gol do Benfica, marcado por número 10, Jonas. Nos resultados, Sporting Lisboa e Benfica 1, Young Boys 0.
The only other side that can win it. Can't claim the trophy this year, the 7 times former winners. They could finish second above Benfica with a victory in this one if And that is to be the case, though. They're going to have to do it the hard way and come back from behind. Competition they last won, by the way, in 2007. 1964, 73 and 75, 87, 2000 and 2004. The other years that they've claimed the silverware. There's Roger Asale. Support from Suleimani, the former Benfica man. And Barbu to deliver the cross. It's not cleared yet, it's the equaliser. Smartly taken goal, and it did not take long. Asale beats Julio Cesar, and they were behind for only about 2 minutes. Looked like the initial danger had been dealt with, but when the ball went back in, Benfica just seemed to switch off for a moment. It's a really good finish.
Roger Asale, the
In their first fixture without maybe getting his reward, he has Coast International.
No resultado para o Young Boys
and Mbabu. Temporary spell, a permanent one over the course of the summer. Benfica conceding for the first time in the tournament. Clean sheet against Nursultan Zamalek never really came under too much threat, but it's a very different story. They have stepped up in the level of Swiss opposition they're facing today. The side that finished second in the Challenger League, and they're facing the side that finished second in the Super League. Finding it tougher going. Unlike on Thursday, not able to build on the opening goal when they scored a second fairly swiftly afterwards themselves. This time they conceded one. Been dealt with, but Seferovic was offside, and he knew it. So back in the balance, renewed hope for Stoke City maybe in their quest for silverware this summer. Nothing more they can do in this Orange Cup competition, of course. Having picked up 5 points, 3 for the win against Nursultan Zamalek, and 2 for beating Young Boys on penalties. 1 for the draw, and then there's another point at stake if a penalty shootout should be required. Still in Switzerland, by the way. They're playing Monaco today in the final friendly in the country up against the French champions. Andre Almeida. And for Silva, didn't quite have the room he was hoping for. In plenty of space he needed to be, actually, after the heavy first touch. Who find the experienced skipper Steve von Bergen, starting his 5th season with the club. I think titles during his days with Zurich, but he has continental experience as well as Silva goes down and wins another free kick. Of Berlin, he's played in Italy with Cecina and Palermo as well, and a couple of World Cups for Switzerland. 50 caps for his country. Soleimani trying to get back to him in a role reversal really between those two. And for Silva, back for Hermes again. Ball in. be really attacking it in red, but it's out only as far as Andre Almeida. Jonas lets it run and gets it back again. The goalkeeper in the end. Why the referee did let it go, because there looked to be more of an advantage for Benfica on that occasion. Almeida, who's still down, that's the reason why contact was made by Sekou Sanogo. A little bet into play. Remains to be seen what further incoming transfer business will be done in Lisbon, but there's a clear vacancy at right back now. Nelson Semedo's moved to Barcelona, so Almeida able to try and nail down a regular first team role in that position. He only managed 10 starts last season. He's equally at home in a defensive midfield role, really. With the sizable Portuguese international contingent at the club, but his last cap was back in 2015. A regular role maybe for Benfica. It's costing him with his country as well. Possibilities that could change. Augusto will go back to Julio Cesar. He's had 3 full seasons with the club now under his belt since that move from Queen's Park Rangers. Transfer having suffered relegation and his 1 full year at QPR from the Premier League. Strong in the challenge. So caught. Protesting from the sidelines, but Benfica still have the ball. They have it up to the feet of Seferovic. Now good turn, Jonas in support. Lovely link-up plays around the goalkeeper as well. And Benfica want the penalty instead. It's a yellow card for the dive. We had a very different interpretation of that. Let's have another look at it. Is there any contact? Possibly not from that angle. Well, I've got that right, the referee. Call for the Benfica goalscorer for trying to make the most of that. Looking for simulation instead. And young boys can breathe again, but the build-up just prior to that has been particularly impressive. Signs in their first game together against Leicester Zamax on Thursday of the link-up play already between Seferovic and Jonas in those 2 striking roles. And the signs are promising, particularly when you consider Mitroglou still to come back in.
¿No? Y bueno, otros hombres ahí haciendo...
Al Benfica también le falta Raúl Jiménez en este momento.
Lisandro, recebe Lisandro, central goleador na época passada, Lisandro Lopes, joga para Jardel. Na ausência de Luizão, o capitão, e o xerife da zona defensiva. Passa para Rafa. Logo na velocidade Rafa. Declaração de Rafa. A meter para a zona central era para Seferovic. Agora arriscando a equipa do Young Boys. Bola de Benito. Tirado da zona defensiva. Para Oral. Joga para Assalei. Recupera André Almeida. Lateral direito. Joga para Filipe Augusto. Filipe Augusto para Hermes. Filipe Augusto marcado pelo meio esquerda. Prefere adiantar mais Hermes. Que seria para Rafa. Corte de Sanogo com Nuhu. Bola para Soleimani. Soleimani com a cobertura de Pfizer. Bola metida na frente para Jadel. Vai fugir a Salé. Muito rápido a Salé. Vai chutar a Salé. Atirou. E a bola no poste. A Salé. Muito rápido. Bola no poste da baliza de Júlio César. E tira André Almeida. Para fora, para cá.
Não se pode dar realmente espaço à Salé. Porque é um jogador muito rápido e cria realmente muito perigo. Portanto, é um jogador que tem de possivelmente ter uma marcação, se calhar, mais cerrada e mais em cima.
Mais apertada, criou perigo, 34 minutos na Salé, tirou o poste da baliza de Júlio César, muito forte no arranque, muito rápido, é o tal, nas tais duplas de ponta de lança, é o avançado que tem menos um palmo do que aquele que é o avançado mais fixo na grande área, que é neste caso o Guilherme Morró, e o Assalé é o, digamos que o avançado de maior mobilidade. Bola cortada por Nuhu, ainda Nuhu. Passe para Soleimani, o apoio de Mbabo, bola para Mbabo, vai com André Almeida, agora está na esquerda, corta André Almeida e é ponta para a equipa do Young Boys.
O Young Boys tem um andamento já muito mais forte, nota-se logo, estamos com 34 minutos de jogo, vê-se realmente que o Young Boys é uma equipa já com mais tempo de preparação e sobretudo vê-se o andamento de jogo dele.
Pontapé de canto para Soleimani bater. E o jogador Romain Crica, bola levantada por Soleimani, tira com uma palmada ao Júlio César, segundo canto consecutivo agora do outro lado. Júlio César vai agora bater a Rabi. O Jorge está a abrir. Estamos com 36 minutos, faltam 9 para o intervalo. Grita-se Benfica nessa casa. Pontapé de canto batido, bola tirada por Pfizer. Bola para Zonas, vai arrancar Zonas, segura a bola Zonas, libertou bem para Rafa, contra-ataque, joga para Diogo Gonçalves, aí vai Diogo Gonçalves, muito rápido também, e a falta de Benito, livre para o Benfica, falta de Diogo Gonçalves, era uma das especialidades do Benfica, da Luís, as saídas em contra-ataque.
É verdade, aqui é um canto, portanto, aqui é uma saída muito rápida do Benfica, onde o Benfica realmente é uma das grandes armas da equipa. O Diogo Gonçalves é um jogador também muito rápido, que tem bom controle de bola e, portanto, e aqui podia criar perigo.
Livre para Filipe Augusto bater, também lá está o miúdo Diogo Gonçalves. Filipe também ainda é muito jovem. Filipe Augusto, conseguindo fazer pela sua uma pré-temporada no Benfica. Filipe Augusto. E tudo isso tem uma tremenda mais-valia. Aliás, uma boa época tem que ser a sequência de uma excelente pré-época. Do ponto de vista não dos resultados, também contam como é. Conseguindo, fazendo a sua uma pré-temporada no Benfica. Filipe Augusto. E tudo isso tem uma tremenda mais-valia. Aliás, uma boa época tem que ser a sequência de uma excelente pré-época. Do ponto de vista não dos resultados, também contam como é evidente.
Tudo, muitos jogos e, portanto, eu penso que a pré-época é sempre fundamental.
A equipa do Young Boys somou 69 pontos na época passada. Foi o campeonato da Suíça, o campeão brasileiro somou 86. O campeonato suíço que tem 10 equipas da Super, estamos a falar da Superliga. O campeonato suíço tem 10 equipas, mas tem 36 jornadas. Mais um livro conquistado pela equipa do Benfica. Ganho por ficou mais vai lapidar. Antes para o Vitória lapidar.
Tem as condições todas. O Diogo Gonçalves realmente é um jogador com uma qualidade enorme. A época passada fez uma grande época na equipa de potencialidade para se manter no plantel 2017-2018.
Sim, até pela valência que ele tem. super menos criatividade. Muito grave jogar com
já jogava com os colegas já há algum tempo. Tem uma qualidade enorme. É um jogador que não é profissional e não há dúvida que está aqui um problema.
Estamos benfiquistas, como sempre, no excelente apoio